Hey, it's Dorleen, and today I'm playing in my junk journal. So if you're a YouTube follower or subscriber of mine, you know I've made some what I call funky cards, and basically using those scraps of painted pages and jelly prints, things like that, that are in that envelope that I'm digging through. So I decided to do something like that in my junk journal. I just kind of flipped through the junk journal and I picked this one particular page, but you'll notice as the video is going on that I end up spreading it out through the two sides. But I'm just pulling out papers that I wanted to use. Really kind of no rhyme or reason. This is a scrapbook paper scrap, and I just started cutting out what I'm calling like a leaf or a branchy thing. Shape was already there, so I cut around it, and at first I was going to use it and I'm not really sure, so I put that aside. This is an envelope, or the inside of an envelope, that I just used some black marker and put some marks on it, and I decided I was going to cut out that leaf shape or another leaf shape on there instead. And I really like the way that turned out. But, just following the theme with the junk journal, I'm just using items that either, well, what I consider junk. I know a lot of people have different interpretations of what a junk journal is, but this is my interpretation. It's book pages from an old paperback. It's junk mail, or sometimes just some, what do you call that, like a mop-up page of other projects, which a lot of these are. I'll have some extra paint or inks or something, and instead of just wiping it off with a wipe and throwing it out, I'll use a blank piece of paper, or like I said, a junk mail, or just a piece of the book pages or anything like that, and mop that up. And I'll use stencils and things like that, which you can see right there that I'm adhering. There's some stenciled hearts, and I believe I kind of purposely added paint to that one. But I'm just using my glue stick and putting them down, not really following any direction or exact science, I guess. But I'm following what I did with those funky cards. And if you'd like to see more of those, I'll put the link below, but you can check my index in YouTube and just look for those. I do believe I do call them funky cards, or maybe even collage cards. But you see there on that right side, that's when I decide, well, you know what, let me go ahead and start filling that page out too, because it was another incomplete page out of my junk journal. I'm using the negative portion of that cutout leaf, and so it does correspond a little bit with the other side, and I really tried to match some of those colors, like the pink and the yellow and things like that, and you'll see that as I'm going along. I'm just using glue stick right there. I'm using more of a liquid glue because the edges of that cutout piece are really thin. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like my neighbor's leaf blowing or something like that. So I apologize if you can hear that. But let me see, where am I? Like I said, I'm just, grabbing some scraps. I'm tearing, or I'm using some pieces that are in that bag on the side that I just think coordinate with each other as well. Because you see there that red printed paper, that was actually a jelly print or a gel print. I don't even know what is it called, a jelly plate, gel plate, I don't know. But I'm just using scraps because that's the fun of it. I mean, I could just throw those little pieces away, but it's so fun to add them onto a page. And you can see those are more pieces that I've cut or tore, and instead of throwing out, I'm just putting them right back in that container. And now, to continue with this kind of mixed media look, I'm adding some acrylic paint. I'm just using some white paint and using my finger to rub that in, and mostly just to blend the pieces together so they don't look just kind of random. And that's usually a really good idea when you're doing collage type work, because otherwise they look like a bunch of separate things on a piece of paper. You add some, especially white. I think white's a really good tying color. And now all of a sudden they seem like they belong to each other. So I'm just doing that. I'm not really sure, again, what I'm doing. I found some stickers that I had, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll use that. But you'll see there that I decide I don't like it. And unfortunately, as I'm peeling it off, I'm peeling off that red circle that I had there originally. but instead of, being upset about it, I'm just grabbing some fuchsia color paint and using that instead and kind of covering where that circle, the torn circle is, and then I'm using that same color to cover the other side, the right side, because remember they coordinated at first, but now they coordinate because now they're both painted. I decided I did want to use some of those stickers on that sheet because I've had that forever and it was out. So I did put that arrow on there, little heart, and just again, not sure where I'm going. I'm just kind of going with the flow, if you want to call it that. And this is a white Posca paint marker, and I'm just kind of scribbling, kind of fake writing across with the white, which I really love that look. And it's funny, but it's kind of hard to achieve because I think I'm always trying to write neat, and that really needs to be more messy. And I really like what I did here. I haven't dripped ink like this in a long time. So basically I just took that tube out of the ink spray and put some on top, and then used just a water spray to let it run down. And isn't that teal so pretty? I love that with that bright pink too. And then with that black, oh, it just thinks it looks so pretty. So you'll see me kind of messing around with that. I'm using my finger to help it flow where I want it to flow. And I just keep doing that. And that black thing that I'm holding on my, while I'm mopping up that color, that's just a torn t-shirt that I use, and that way I can wash it or not. I have a bunch of little rags, and sometimes I just toss them. It just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm using that to put some color on it as well. So if you're not already, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and if this is giving you any ideas to do your own junk journal spread, I'd really appreciate that. You can also hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified of any of my upcoming videos. I do at least one video a week, and they vary from card making, junk journaling, scrapbooking, just different things that I'm doing in my craft room. So right now I'm just grabbing a black pen, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to write, and I like that sentiment that I wrote, but I hate the way it's written. So I use a different white pen, and I'm just adding marks here and there, and eventually you'll see me highlighting the letters or highlighting some of the shapes, which I'm doing right now with that circle. But the main reason why I'm doing or adding the highlights to the letters is because I'm trying to tell myself that I like it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I go through a lot of trouble trying to fix the writing, and when it's all said and done, I still don't like it. Now, the bad part is you'll see me continue with this video, because it completely changes at the end. Oh, look at that. I forgot. I thought I was filming, and then I wasn't. So I added paint to cover up the letters, and unfortunately a lot of those pieces that I did ended up just going away. You can't really see them. But I have some foam stamps, and I just use some acrylic paint, and I'm just stamping the pages. Those butterflies were very thin cut, die cut out of cardstock that I've had forever, and I added. And I just said, you know what? This is a completely different look than what I started with, but I still like it. So I want that to be a lesson, because just because you start one way and you hate it doesn't mean you have to stop. Just keep on adding layers until you get something that you really do like. Again, I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and hit that subscribe button down below, and I hope you catch my next video next week. Thanks. Bye.